Say we get you a 50% disability and it pays $1,500 a month. That employee just got a $1,500 raise that didn't cost the company a dime.
Myself personally, I love denials because then it tells me what that hurdle that we got to get over, you know.
You don't pay for your benefit. Your benefits are yours, you earned them. We'll get them taken care of for free.
All right, folks. Welcome back to the Eagle Ops Rally Point podcast, and we're here today with another community partner of ours and a dear friend of mine, Mr. Brian Jeffries with the Oklahoma Department of Veterans Affairs. Give us a little background, brother.
I'm the outreach director for the Oklahoma Department of Veterans Affairs. My background, I retired from the Army back in 2019. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. A friend of mine worked for the Oklahoma Department of Veterans Affairs and said, hey, why don't you come over here and look at this job? Applied, got the job, and really started to like it. Did that a couple of years and was approached about starting an outreach program for the agency. Basically, from the ground up, we started doing outreach. We got involved with partnering with the federal VA, partnering with Eagle Ops, and getting out and finding out how to do this outreach. And we've been doing it ever since. And right now, we're probably one of the best in the United States at outreach for Veterans Affairs. We've proven that we can do this just by the amount of people we've gotten service connected and our outreach, the number of outreach activities we do on a monthly basis. It's not just we do one a year. We're doing 4 and 5 of these a month of these big events. And then we've still got our smaller events that we're doing on top of that all over the state of Oklahoma.
So going out in the community and actually reaching the veterans where they are and providing them with the opportunity to connect with both the VA healthcare as well as claims and benefits.
Exactly. We found that a lot of the veterans they have either had a bad experience with the VA or they have never really tried because they don't consider themselves a veteran. They think it's too cumbersome or something like that. Well, that's what we want to come out and meet them where they're at and talk to them and explain. Just because you didn't deploy doesn't mean you're not a veteran. Just because you had a difficult time with the VA changes. Let us help you figure that out. Let us be the expert. You don't have to know how to do it. We know how to do it. We'll walk you through it. And we want to make sure that every veteran gets everything they've got coming to them. A lot of veterans will think, like I said, I didn't go to combat. Well, that has nothing to do with being a veteran. A lot of reservists think they're not veterans because they were reservists. All that is untrue. It's come talk to us. Let us go through your files and figure out what needs to be done.
What's some of the common things that you see veterans not know or that they assume that about the VA, both claim side and their benefits?
Well, one of the things, they think it's such a cumbersome process. It's just like any other government bureaucracy. I mean, there is a bureaucracy there. That's what we're here to help with. We understand the bureaucracy. We're trained in the bureaucracy. We know how to put in the right form at the right time, how to word things correctly on your benefits. It's not the VA of the 70s. The VA is not that anymore. It's the largest healthcare system in the United States. They are taking good care of our veterans. Is it frustrating getting a referral sometimes? Yeah, it's frustrating, but it happens. It's going to happen at a primary care doctor that you're paying insurance for. But the VA is doing a much better job at this. They've made several big changes to the laws in the past few years. Now we've got the PACT Act that's in effect, and it's covering the current Gulf War veterans. And they're still adding to the Vietnam veterans for the Agent Orange. So the VA is trying to do the right thing. Let us help you navigate it.
Just from our experience over the last few years, like you've helped, thousands, like 5,000 plus veterans. So what would be some like big misconceptions in eligibility, specifically to eligibility out there?
Yeah, probably the biggest one we hear over and over again, when you're getting out of the service, and you and I have both been there, they tell you, go get registered with the VA. You don't know anything about the VA. Well, unfortunately, the VA is 3 systems. You've got the National Cemetery Association, the Veterans Benefits Administration, and the Veterans Health Administration. They operate independently of each other. They don't talk to each other the way that you would think they would. I walk in, say, hey, I'm here to register with the VA. They take all my information and they say, well, you're not qualified because you don't meet the means test. You make too much money to use the VA. And you go, well, okay, I guess I'm done. And you walk out the door. Somebody needs to explain to the veteran, yes, there is a income threshold for VA benefits, but if you have a service-connected disability with the VA, that changes everything and it opens up the VA healthcare side. It's not explained very well. And that's something that we've ran into over and over and over again. They got told no once and they've never been back. Things change. Even if you've been denied from the VA for disability benefits, again, things change. For years, hypertension was not allowed to be claimed for Agent Orange. Now it is. Guam wasn't part of the Agent Orange area. Now it is. Prior denials are now approvals. You've got to come back and talk to us. Let us go in and see what we can do.
Myself personally, I love denials because then it tells me what that hurdle that we got to get over, and I tell veterans, specifically veterans that have been denied in the past, and more specifically veterans that I have to clarify when they say that I don't qualify for the VA. I always ask that question. Do you not qualify for health care? Or do you not qualify for claims? Like you filed a claim and was denied. So which one? I need to clarify that because I attack both of them differently, right? Because if you went to the VA healthcare system, no matter it was yesterday or 30, 40 years ago, or a buddy just told you, and they went in and they didn't qualify because they make too much money. I attack that situation much different than I do a claims, like a denial on claim side. Because if you file a claim, then obviously it's different. We go about it differently. I know you've heard me say this, is that your claim, if you have a service-connected disability, it's your insurance for VA healthcare. If you have a service-connected disability, you now rate healthcare for that issue and related issues for the rest of your life in the VA healthcare system. Right.
Absolutely.
Like you said, you've got three very distinct divisions of the VA: healthcare, benefits, and then cemeteries. And I push that aside. We're going to deal with that later on. We're all going to get there, but let's not deal with that now. Let's go into a little bit of detail on the PACT Act. There is some crazy misconceptions. I hear veterans all the time, I want to file my PACT Act claim.
And you hear it from Vietnam. I need to file for my Agent Orange. The PACT Act got initiated. It was one of the biggest changes to ever happen to the VA. It included things for MOS exposures, military occupational exposures that happened that you were soaked in jet fuel as an aircraft crew chief. Happens probably more than you want to think about. Well, if you start developing a skin cancer, I can link those two things together. And that was never there before. Respiratory conditions and the sinus issues that happen from being in the burn pits and things like that in the Middle East. Those are all things that now they're presumptive. I don't have to have that incident or illness in service. Your location or your MOS is what's going to give me that. You've got to look at the VA like workers' comp. It's the military's workers' comp system. If they hurt you and they did this, then they're going to take care of you.
I always like your analogy on that one, the workers' comp side of things. The one thing that I have to explain to veterans on a regular basis as an accredited, claims agent on the PACT Act is the PACT Act was actually a vehicle for Congress to be able to open the floodgates for the VA to be able to connect the dots, right? Like you said, with Agent Orange and toxic exposure and any exposure across the board, it allowed them to then say, okay, because of this, then this. But the one thing that I try to, and I know you do as well, is educate veterans on is that you're not going to file a claim for a PACT Act. You're going to file a claim for an actual illness, a diagnosed illness or issue that started in service because of an exposure to something while in service. That exposure, obviously, of Agent Orange or burn pits or et cetera, caused respiratory issues, skin cancers, any other of the 20-something plus different cancers that Agent Orange, has been associated with. But you must have, this is the education for the veteran, you must have a diagnosed issue or the related issues themselves. You don't have to have a diagnosis yet. We can get there, but you must have the issues that we can then make that connection to.
Right.
Something happened in service, exposure, or you broke something, or you hurt something, or over years of service, 30 years.
Right.
You probably jumped out of a few planes and you got some issues, right? Or something happened prior to service that got worse in service. Those
Right.
are rare ones, but those happen. And then the other two, I always say, are connected, right? That's the current treatment of that issue and a current diagnosis of that issue. If you have those three things, we've got a solid claim.
Right.
If you are a veteran that has ever been denied a claim or believe you rate service-connected disability that are interested in filing a claim for an issue that started in service, if you know someone that was denied in the past, encourage them to come and plug into us. They served this country. They were injured in service, then they rate and deserve it, no matter whether they went to combat or didn't go to combat, whether they were a reservist or National Guardsman. If they were injured while on orders, then we can help them.
There's thousands upon thousands daily of veterans who have been told no in the past are now getting something awarded. It's don't give up is the thing.
Having someone like us to be able to read that legal jargon and know what that legal jargon means to be able to then give you a path of, hey, this is what we need and this is why. And most of the time it's much more simple than what they think.
Sometimes it's just something as small as just go get a diagnosis.
Right.
Go get your primary care to put in your medical records. You have a torn meniscus or whatever might be the case. Now we have a diagnosis. It's one form we turn in, diagnosis now in records, and it gets awarded.
Right.
It sometimes is that simple. Sometimes it's more, but a lot of times it's really that simple. It's people, they just read the denial and they stop. Right. And they don't finish the rest of the paper.
I want to backtrack just a second before I get into great detail with those, in the fact that you spoke about when you first started with ODVA, you were a representative for veterans in hearings. So that's the other side of claims and benefits when they get denied. And this is the opportunity for us to kind of move it up the ladder. Having someone like us know and understand the Code of Federal Regulation enough to say, hey, like the end is not the end unless you stop, right?
Exactly.
And so the next evolution of the HLRs, the higher level reviews, and then what's that next level? So kind of break down an HLR and then break us down and give us some details.
There are 4 different levels of the appeal process. You've got a higher level review. A higher level review, there is a mistake in what the VA did. They didn't consider a piece of evidence. The exam was inadequate. There was a mistake made somewhere.
But that's
what a higher level review is.
Only with information, though, with higher level review. It's only information they have in
it had to be in the file when you filed the claim.
They just missed it.
And they missed it. And it happens. Things can get overlooked. Right. I mean, I've seen service treatment records that are thousands of pages long. No. You could miss a form. Right. It's not something, there are still humans involved. There's going to be an error sometimes. That's what a higher level review, though, is for, is to catch those errors and get it awarded. It goes before what they call a decision review officer. These are very, very senior rating officials with the VA, and they go through these files with a fine-tooth comb. But that's one of the types. The next type is a supplemental claim. A supplemental claim is you've been denied for X, and I'm going to introduce a new piece of evidence, be it a nexus letter, outside your private physician's disability questionnaire, but you're giving new evidence. Mm-hmm. That's a supplemental claim.
Your primary care physician finally diagnosed you with something.
Right. You finally got a diagnosis. Now I'm turning in the diagnosis, and it's a supplemental claim. Now, those two are the fastest appeals that can be done. The next level of appeal is called the Board of Veterans Appeals. It's done generally through a video teleconference out of the Muskogee Regional Office here in Oklahoma. Your rep, your accredited rep, will go into this hearing with you. Why you take something to the Board of Veterans Appeals? It's because the regulation has told you no. The VA, they look at everything and they've said, no, this doesn't meet the parameters of what we're trying to do. A good for instance of that, when I first started, I don't know how many times I had to argue Agent Orange for Guam. Agent Orange for Cambodia. The judge could go around the regulation and say, does a reasonable person think that's actually what caused the problem? And they would award. It's not that you're trying to overcome 30 years of negative hearing tests, and then all of a sudden you've got a positive one. You're saying it's from 30 years ago. That's probably not something I'd go to the Board of Veterans Appeals for. But it's something that once that you can prove, but it's going to be outside the regulation. They can't make that decision at the rater level that, well, I think that's what caused it. They have to follow what the book says. Right. It's not the VA that told you no, it was the regulation that told you no. That's where the judge gets involved, and the judge can override that part of it and say no, and by looking at this evidence, I'm going to award it this way. It's probably one of the last resorts that a accredited officer will ever tell you to go down because it does take so long.
Right.
We'll try other ways. We'll try getting new and relevant evidence, getting that turned in to do it that way, and get it done in 6 months instead of getting it done in 2 to 3 years. The last course is after a Board of Veterans Appeals, if it's denied your case, then you take it to the Court of Veterans Appeals in Washington, D.C. That is a true appeals court. It's back into the justice system, and you have to go in and argue the case. That's where you see the PACT Act came from, and the Niemer Act for Agent Orange. Changes, yeah. Those things came from the Court of Veterans Appeals.
Just from the field, obviously both of us work in the field on that side of it, hundreds of outreach events that you've completed over the last few years. Just to kind of get a personal touch on those, I'm going to go into detail on like what those events look like, and then obviously the one kind of initiative that me and you have been really focused on here lately, especially going after employers. But is there like a veteran that's kind of stuck with you over the years that you, at one of our outreach events or one of your outreach events, and help them connect to benefits that you can remember that, man, this kind of sticks with me, that we did some really amazing things. Absolutely. And the story was awesome.
We were in Western Oklahoma and we had brought examiners to be able to do claims, get the exam done right then and come back in and get the rating done that day. One of the veterans that came in that day, he brought his brother. His brother had applied for VA benefits in like 1974 when he got back from Vietnam and got told no and swore he would never talk to the VA again. Made him mad and he just would not talk to them. Mm-hmm. He tricked his brother into coming in that day. Told him he was coming to get his car tag form from us and told his brother, just come with me. Once we got him in there, we got his claim in, first we got him to file a claim. Got it in, got his exams done. By the end of the day, he was 100% permanent and total. He had a 6-figure back pay because they got to backdate it as far as they could because it was a Niemer law. And the big thing with that one was he was starting to develop some mental capability issues, some dementia type issues, and they were worried about how he was going to get taken care of. That opened up one of the veterans' homes that was able to take him. He had all that money. He wasn't going to lose his house. His family was taken care of, and the veteran got taken care of because the brother tricked him into coming in. And we were able to get all that done in about a 6-hour time period. Now that's unusual, and that's not a normal thing that happens, but that one right there kind of stuck. That's the reason we're out here doing it. That veteran was in deep, definite need. And we were able to get him the treatment and the care and the monetary value to be able to keep himself safe and secure with his family. And when you have something like that, you remember that one. Same things happen with widows that were denied in the past, and now the PACT Act's changed the rules, and now we've been able to go back and get them their benefits. And that's a life-changing thing for some of these widows. They weren't getting anything other than a small Social Security stipend. And then all of a sudden now we can get them their dependent indemnity compensation. That's all happened at multiple outreach events. And it happens almost every event. We have a story like that happens.
So on the outreach events, so you're doing two different style of events. Number one would be the ones that you just go out in the community and host a veterans benefits fair or what they call a PACT Act event, that kind of thing. So what happens at those events?
So at one of those events, we will bring in Veterans Health Administration to do eligibility enrollment. We'll bring in toxic screening, nurses to do toxic screening from the VHA. We'll have Veterans Benefits Administration at the event. We'll be doing claims. We'll have accredited VSOs. So you'll walk in, sign in. We get you put at a table. We kind of do a little quick triage, and we figure out what all you need done that day. If you need, some veterans just need a new ID, and we'll take care of that while they're there. If they need to be enrolled, we'll take care of that. If they need a claim done, we're going to take care of that. The other part of it is we'll also have resources there. We'll have Eagle Ops at these events. We'll have suicide prevention at these events. We'll have care in the community there. We'll have all the different things that are available, and it's community-based, federal-based, where we bring all these resources so that while you're going through this, you can also find out about your other resources that are available to the veterans. By the end, you've got the things taken care of that you needed for the VA, and you're not driving to the VA to get it taken care of. A lot of times, especially in the rural communities, the VA is not close. If you're in Guyman, Oklahoma, you're 2 hours from everything. So why don't we bring it to you and get you signed up and get you taken care of? The reason we started all this is because there are anywhere from 261 to 278,000 veterans in the state of Oklahoma. Only 109,000 are taking advantage of their benefits. That's completely not acceptable. 38% of the veterans are getting the stuff that they're supposed to, and then you've got the 62% that aren't getting anything. And there's any number of reasons: access, availability. They don't think that they qualify.
They've been told no at some point. Yeah.
If you served, ask somebody. Yeah. Don't just assume. Absolutely. Ask somebody. They're going to let us look. We're trained on how to do this. Any VSO, talk to Eagle Ops, talk to the American Legion. They're going to tell you, no, yeah, we can do this, or yes, you need to do this. Right. But don't just assume it's a no.
Agreed. So one of the initiatives that me and you have really kind of taken on specifically in the last year or so is going in front of employers and putting on veteran resource fairs for the employers. And tell us a little bit about that and go into some detail there.
Well, when we started that, we had had a company here in Tulsa reach out to us and said, "Hey, would you think about doing this for us?" And it was actually the city of Tulsa that was the first one that I ever did. Mm-hmm. And their HR had said, we'd like to have you come out, and all of our employees on the clock get to come by, and we take care of their health insurance, and we do some other things, and maybe you guys could file some claims for them while they're there. Well, we did that, and it was a very good success and got us thinking, why aren't we doing this for other employers? So we started moving and got some other employers to allow us to come in and do it. And something that we've noticed from this is more than half the employees that we talk to have never done anything with the VA, and for the exact same reason. I have a job. I work from X to X, and the VA is open from 8 to 4. I'm at work. I can't get off to go do that. We bring it to the company, and we get them signed up, and they're not missing any work. And that way they can get into the system that they've never been in before. One company, we did 43 people, and I think 33 of them had never filed a claim before. And some of them were combat veterans, just had never filed a claim because they had jobs. They couldn't get away to go see the VA. Well, let us bring it to you. And that's what we're trying to get through to the employers around the state. We will come in and do this, and we don't want any money. We want a break room. We want a break room and a power that we could plug into. We'll bring in the internet. We'll do everything. We just give your employees time to come see us. It's making it, every time we do one of these, the employees automatically give the credit to their employer. Mm-hmm. because the employer let them and got them this or did this for them. And it's something that doesn't cost the employer anything but a little bit of time on the clock while they come and talk to us.
Right. Yeah. The one thing that is unique in that scenario is that it's not just a benefit to the veterans themselves. It's actually a very significant benefit to the employers as well.
Absolutely. If, say, we get you a 50% disability and it pays $1,500 a month, that employee just got a $1,500 raise that didn't cost the company a dime. You get 50% coverage, all your health care is covered through the VA. Well, if you're getting employer-based health care, the more it's used, the more it costs. It's got a modifier on it where they're going to upcharge the company for people using the insurance. Well, if they're not using your insurance, your modifiers may go down, or your modifiers may stay the same instead of going up. Right. So there are benefits to the company for this. They're getting a no-cost raise for their employees. They're getting their insurances lowered, and they're getting a better quality employee because the employee is feeling like that company's taking care of them. Right. It's the peace of mind that it's hard to buy as a company, right, but you can get this for them, and it's not going to cost you anything.
Finish up your workday, come and chat with us, or come in early and chat with us.
We're going to work it however we need to. We just want to get the veterans the benefits that are due.
So in your kind of outreach picture, like where do you see organizations like Eagle Ops kind of fitting into all of that?
All of the organizations like Eagle Ops and the other community-based organizations, veterans they'll work, they'll go home, and they'll sit in the dark, or they'll sit and watch TV, and they'll just sit. The veterans got to get up and get moving. Veterans are somewhat distrustful of a lot of things. The military has a way of making you a little bit distrustful of everything. Get out, get with other people, like-minded people. That's why we partner so well with Eagle Ops is get out and get that partnership going. You're around people like you were in the service. You can tell the funny, terrible stories to each other that everybody else thinks is, I don't see how you think that's so hilarious. You get people with like experiences and you get moving. Without that community-based, the veteran, okay, yeah, we've got their benefits. We've got their health care taken care of. But it doesn't do any good if the veteran, the only thing they're doing is going home and sitting. Right. You've got to get up and get moving. Vietnam had what benefits they had because the Korean guys got out and got involved. The Vietnam guys got involved, and that's why our generation of soldiers and airmen and Marines, they have benefits. Now, that's the other thing. Get out and get involved so that you can get the next guy. Mm-hmm. You've still got to pay something forward. And these community-based organizations are what helps pay that forward, because you get enough people together in that situation, then Shep as Eagle Ops gets this issue, you can go as a group and lobby for that and get a law changed. Okay. That's why these groups are so important. Get involved. Don't let it just die out.
You mentioned this a little bit earlier, but how do we compare as Oklahoma when it comes to veterans actually accessing benefits within the state of Oklahoma?
We run number 1 to number 2 almost always for the United States per capita, veterans receiving their benefits. And that's at 38%. Oklahoma does a very good job. Oklahoma offers quite a bit of benefits as a state to the veterans that other states don't do. Most states will offer something, be it a property tax or a sales tax exemption or reduced car tags. Oklahoma, at 50%, you get reduced car tags. You pay the service fee for 2 car tags a year. At 60%, you get a lifetime hunting and fishing license. At 70%, the 7 veterans homes that we run become free for your end-of-life care and for if you need assisted living care. At 100%, you don't pay sales tax. You don't pay excise tax for cars every 3 years. You get your property tax waived. Oklahoma has a massive amount of benefits for veterans. On top of, if you're a retired veteran from the military, you don't have to pay income tax on your military retirement pay.
Oh, wow. Is that Oklahoma benefit?
Oklahoma benefit. These are all Oklahoma benefits that our legislature has gone above and beyond to do that for us. And our legislature absolutely loves veterans, and they try to take really good care of our veterans. So, it's, again, these community-based organizations are the reason we have these benefits, is because they've gone to the legislature and said, hey, what would be nice is if you could do this for the veterans. And the legislature said, yeah, we could probably pull that off. And that's from these community-based organizations. Mm-hmm. That's why it's important. You got to be involved.
So if there was a veteran out there, or even a spouse or significant other listening that has a veteran, or they are a veteran that hasn't filed a claim or accessed any of their benefits, like, what's their first step? Like, would you kind of give them some guidance on, hey, what would you do to be able to take that next step?
The first step, if you don't want to go in and try to figure it out yourself and log into the VA system and try to digest that CFR 38 that's 5 inches thick, go to a local veterans organization, any one of them. Go see somebody. They're going to point you in the right direction. We all work together. Go see one of them. They're going to help you, and they're going to get you to the right place. The one place I don't recommend you go is the agencies that say, we'll guarantee you 100%.
Guarantee, and blah, 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 whatever that is.
What they're going to guarantee you is that they're going to take part of your money if you do get money out of it. And they're going to make you do all the paperwork.
Yep.
So you paid them to tell you what to write, and you wrote it and turned it in. Don't do that. You don't pay for your benefit. Your benefits are yours. You earned them. We'll get them taken care of for free. American Legions, Eagle Ops, VFWs, they're volunteer organizations. They don't want your money. State of Oklahoma, we don't want your money. The legislature pays our salaries. We just want to help. Don't pay somebody to get what you earned.
Speaking from a retired veteran there, absolutely. We are here absolutely free to be able to guide you through that and assist you with that, whether it be claims or getting in the healthcare system or questions or either side. Like, we're here to help. One unique thing about Eagle Ops as a foundation is that we do host rally points, social events to get veterans out and off the couch. We do partner, obviously, with Oklahoma Department of Veterans Affairs on our mission. There would be a partnership in which we create not specific social events, but more so veteran benefits fairs. And we do those throughout the state of Oklahoma. So if you're watching this podcast and you're a veteran in anywhere in the USA, obviously, if you're in Oklahoma, connect with Oklahoma Department of Veteran Affairs, connect with us. We can connect you with resources, help you with VA claims, help you with VA healthcare, guide you through that process. Even if you've had issues and been denied, we love those. That tells us exactly why you were denied, and we can help you, find a way over that hurdle. No matter what state you're in, find an accredited agent within your state. You can go to va.gov and actually look for accredited agents within your state that are probably in your hometown or very near your hometown that can assist you with filing claims. Go to those folks and ask them those questions. And if you know that you were absolutely injured in service, then I will literally tell you right now and challenge you right now that do not stop going to those folks and getting denied within the VA system. Don't stop until you get what you rate and deserve, because you rate and deserve it, right? We have so many veterans that come to us that, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, they were told no, and that was it. They just stopped. Well, I will tell you right now that me and Brian say this all the time, is that the rules and regulations, the Code of Fed regulation changes on a monthly basis. That means your benefits, your services change on a monthly basis. And if you stop and never file again, then you're never going to get those benefits.
We run into that. I imagine Shep's saying on a daily basis. Right. Well, I got told no, so it's no. Well, it was no because you asked the question wrong, or you didn't ask the right question, right, or it was no at that time. Now the regulations changed. Come talk to us. Don't just assume.
Well, the unique thing about the VA now specifically is in a scenario where I help veterans process through va.gov and educate them through, where you will you give them the fish, I teach them the fish. And so we work very well together on that side of it. And the big deal for us is that as long as you got internet access, you can file a claim.
Exactly.
Right? Now, you're going to have to travel to the examiner and to the VA healthcare system and all of that eventually. But as far as filing claims, we can do it from any time and place. I mean, I had an instance a few months ago where I was filing for a veteran that was in Ireland. Well, we don't have VA in Ireland, but she happened to live in Florida. She just happened to be in Ireland on work. And when she came back, her CMP exams were set up because she filed in Ireland. And she said, I won't be back in the States for another 3 months. And so they scheduled her out 4 months. And sure enough, she went to her CMP exams and no kidding, got her disability pushed through when she came back.
The amount of things that I see Eagle Ops pull and the amount of time that you and Jessica put into this organization and your difference makers, they are constantly referring people to us. We're just here to help the veteran, and you guys are the epitome of just here to help the veteran.
We appreciate that. If you are a veteran that has ever been denied a claim or believe you rate service-connected disability that are interested in filing a claim for an issue that started in service, if you know someone that was denied in the past, encourage them to come and plug into us. They served this country. They were injured in service, then they rate and deserve it, no matter whether they went to combat or didn't go to combat, whether they were a reservist or National Guardsman. If they were injured while on orders, then we can help them. Well, all right, folks, you heard him. We're going to wrap up this episode with this great partner here with Oklahoma Department of Veteran Affairs and Brian Jeffries. Please like and subscribe to our podcast and meet us at the Rally Point.